Analytical summary of The Choice by Edith Eva Eger. The Choice, Embrace the Possible by Dr. Edith Eva Eger is a poignant and transformative memoir that weaves together personal narrative, historical testimony, and psychological insight. A Holocaust survivor, Eger recounts her experiences in Auschwitz and beyond, yet this book is much more than a memoir of survival. It is a profound meditation on trauma, healing, and the power of human agency. 1. Historical and personal context. Edith Eger was born in 1927 in Kosice, then part of Czechoslovakia. At the age of 16, she and her family were deported to Auschwitz. Her parents were murdered in the gas chambers upon arrival, while Edith and her sister Magda endured forced labor and brutality. What makes The Choice distinct among Holocaust memoirs is Eger's dual role as both witness and healer. Decades after liberation, she became a clinical psychologist, using her experiences to help others confront their own trauma. Eger does not shy away from the horrors she faced, including starvation, violence, and moments of existential despair. But rather than positioning herself solely as a victim, she chooses to examine her suffering through the lens of personal responsibility and the potential for growth. This reframing is the book's philosophical cornerstone. While we cannot always choose what happens to us, we can choose how we respond. 2. Themes of trauma and healing. A major strength of The Choice lies in its psychological depth. Eger explores trauma not as a singular event but as a lingering presence in the body and mind. She introduces the concept of the inner prison, the psychological barriers survivors carry even long after the physical danger has passed. Her own journey illustrates how unacknowledged pain can shape behavior, relationships, and self-worth. Eger's approach aligns with contemporary trauma therapy, particularly the work of Viktor Frankl, a fellow Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, and Bessel van der Kolk. She blends memoir with case studies from her clinical practice, offering powerful examples of people who, like her, must confront the ghosts of the past to reclaim their lives. One of her central therapeutic insights is that there is no hierarchy of suffering. She refuses to compare her experiences with others, instead acknowledging that pain is universal and healing must be individually pursued. This compassionate and inclusive perspective allows readers from all backgrounds to relate to her message. 3. Forgiveness and freedom. Perhaps the most radical message of The Choice is the idea of forgiveness, not as an absolution of wrongdoing but as a release from the bondage of hatred and vengeance. Eger recounts her struggle with forgiving herself for surviving when others, including her parents, did not. She also addresses her conflicted feelings toward Adolf Mengele, the Nazi doctor who decided who lived and died in Auschwitz, and whose gaze she met during her selection. Forgiveness, in Eger's telling, is not a gift to the perpetrator but an act of liberation for the survivor. She distinguishes between forgetting and forgiving, arguing that remembering is essential to healing, but clinging to hatred perpetuates suffering. Her narrative is a call to choose freedom over victimhood, a powerful and sometimes controversial stance, especially given the extremity of her experiences. 4. Structure and style. The book is structured in 3 parts: prison, escape, and freedom, reflecting Eger's progression from captivity, both literal and psychological, to autonomy and healing. The prose is clear, intimate, and emotionally resonant. Though she describes unspeakable horrors, Eger's tone remains warm and empathetic. She invites readers not only to witness her past but to engage with their own pain and potential. Interwoven with her personal story are the narratives of her patients, ranging from veterans with PTSD to victims of domestic abuse. These stories reinforce the universality of trauma and the relevance of her insights beyond the specific context of the Holocaust. Each case study illustrates a key psychological principle, from the importance of confronting denial to the necessity of reclaiming one's narrative. 5. Philosophical and ethical reflections. The Choice also functions as a philosophical text. Eger poses fundamental questions about freedom, morality, and the human condition. Her reflections echo existentialist thought, especially the idea that meaning is not inherent but must be created. She challenges readers to examine their own lives and the choices they make, whether to dwell in resentment or to seek growth, whether to retreat into fear or to move toward love. The ethical implications of her work are profound. By emphasizing personal responsibility even in the aftermath of unimaginable injustice, Eger suggests that victimhood, while real, need not be permanent. This assertion does not diminish the horror of historical atrocities but rather empowers survivors to reclaim their identities beyond what was done to them. 6. Reception and impact. Since its publication in 2017, The Choice has received widespread acclaim from psychologists, educators, and general readers alike. It has been praised not only for its historical testimony but for its therapeutic power. Eger's story is taught in classrooms and used in therapeutic settings. Her message resonates with those recovering from all forms of trauma, from war and genocide to personal loss and abuse. Conclusion. The Choice by Edith Eva Eger is an extraordinary book that transcends genres. It is at once a Holocaust memoir, a psychological manual, and a spiritual guide. Its enduring power lies in Eger's insistence that no matter how deep the wound, healing is possible. Through her courageous storytelling and compassionate wisdom, she demonstrates that suffering need not define us and that, ultimately, the greatest choice we have is to embrace the possible. It is a book not only about surviving history's darkest moments, but about choosing life, again and again, with hope, love, and meaning.